Hi, everybody. I hope you're doing well. So, I wanted to come on here tonight and I'm going to go through sign by sign and tell you kind of what to expect. But I wanted to talk about coming out of this wood snake energy, going into this fire horse energy. We do have a major collective reset coming up, real timeline shift for a lot of people. And that is going to be when Neptune and Saturn move from Pisces into Aries, which is going to kind of start this week. This means something that's been going on in 2025. I feel like a lot of people are, I've already been feeling this energy or doing what they needed to do, really listening to their soul and making changes that they needed to make. Now, for others, maybe not so much. But I do have like pages of notes here. So I'm going to be reading my notes. There's no way that I could remember all of this. So this ends a 30-year karmic cycle, right? Learning the lessons, right? It's like a clean slate energy. There's going to be a shift in timelines. And it's going to be important. Knowledge, information, and knowledge is everything, right? So some people are going to struggle with this energy. There's a lot of air and fire energy. So like air signs and fire signs will probably deal with it quite well, whereas earth and water may struggle a little bit because we've been in a lot of earth and water type energy, okay? So this is really about where the fog lifts and reality demands action, honestly. This is where the masks fall off. This is like Pisces can be a little bit about illusions or um, a little bit of fantasy land almost, like, oh, it'll be better when, or once this happens, it'll be fine, like it's going to get better. It's that wishful kind of thinking. Not in Aries. Aries is all about self, okay? So, with that said, I feel what's going to be happening is you're going to start to feel very differently about things. And I feel for most people, if they haven't got these things out of their life that they already know really aren't working, this could be staying in situations that are just good enough, settling type energy, um, doing things from a place of ego. I feel this is going to be like a massive ego death for the collective. But this really, honestly, you have to look at it and think, okay, well, the divine is taking this out of my life for a reason. There's a different path for me. I'm not on the right path. Instead of taking it so personally, okay? I feel that's going to be important. And this is where I'm saying like information is everything, because some things, if they fall apart, it can leave you very confused and upset and all of the things. But this is where we need to look at it from a higher spiritual level, okay? So this basically radical personal responsibility, right? It's like an identity rebirth. And all of us, I feel, are going to be standing there just really kind of trying to figure out who we are. This new version of ourselves. What do we do now? And there's going to be things that we start to feel differently about. It almost could be like our belief systems start to change, right? And the way we felt before, we have this whole new perspective on situations, right? And it's also about action over intention. So this is really about taking that action. It's not like setting the intentions and just leaving them there. This is action. It's time to start moving. Courage replaces avoidance. And that's, like I said, people, places, things in your life. You know, if there's been any type of avoiding there or waiting for things to get better and you just, well, one more try and one more try. Because what's ending here is escapism, denial, confusion, spiritual poverty, or bypassing. You know, this is where we're really coming back to self. And I talked about this before, and this is doing things from a soul level. What's truly aligned with us, because what isn't is going to fall away. Okay? Oh my goodness. The victim savior dynamics. You're not a victim. Nobody's going to come be your savior. Again, it's all about self, right? So that victim savior dynamic or mentality, there's a big shift there. Because Aries says, oh no, you're not a victim. Nobody's coming to save you. Staying in situations out of guilt, fantasy, or hope, right? Again, I already went over that. Any blurred boundaries in love, work, you know, all of that kind of stuff, doesn't matter what it is, could be friendships. Again, you're going to be seeing the truth in situations. Like there's no denial, there's no hiding it. And I feel deep down, most of you already know if you're dealing with something like that in your life. You know what's interesting in that video I did? It's like kind of what the emperor was going through. He sees the truth, right? And that's kind of what he's dealing with, is all this energy that's been going on. Now, this is all going to be taking place here over the next month or so. All right? Starting like this week, but really heavy into, you know, February 20th or so, 21st. And I'm going to be doing some fire horse kind of reading, coming out of that wood snake, going into the fire horse and what it's going to mean for each sign. Neptune and Aries, it's all about acting on your truth. And not just dreaming it or thinking about it, right? It's action. It's doing. What is Saturn in Aries? Because they're both going to be 0 degrees Aries, and that's where the big shift is going to be. And I believe that's on February 20th as well, as us coming out of this wood snake energy into the fire horse energy. But it's about basically growing up and taking responsibility for your life and choices. Okay? But I feel like this is all going to be coming from more of a soul place, or it should be. I'm not going to say you're not going to be tested, but I feel you will know if you're starting to feel really drained, or you're feeling like things aren't going the way that they should be. You know, if it starts to not feel aligned, then it's time to take action, and out you go. Okay. Now, reconciliations. The only way I feel reconciliations will happen is if you're starting from scratch. You are starting from ground zero. I feel for a lot of people, they were karmic situations. There was lessons to be learned. I don't feel for a majority that there's going to be a lot of that. I'm not going to say there isn't going to be any, because there probably will be. But this is where you have to start from ground zero, and you can't bring the past up, right? This is really, truly just starting from scratch, and that's it. You can't jump back to that old timeline with somebody. It's like getting to know somebody all over again, okay? And that's the only way I feel it'll work. Okay, so what we'll see. I feel there's going to be a lot of breakthroughs in leadership, innovation, entrepreneurships, that type of thing. A lot of coming together, of people working together. But again, it's like this soul aligned stuff, and I feel it's really beautiful. People leaving stagnant relationships, and whether that's mentally, emotionally, or physically, right? Because there's no more illusions. It is what it is, right? I feel people are going to have a lot more clear personal boundaries. This is, again, where if it doesn't feel spiritually aligned and I'm going to drive that home, it's just not going to work. Authenticity becomes a non-negotiable. So anybody trying to come in and play games, and I'm going to get into that over here in a minute because I have a couple crazy predictions that I'm putting out here tonight. There's not going to be people really coming in to play games. Okay? I feel all that kind of stuff, this player, people, again, this big ego death, right? And people sitting in that energy, all that's going to start to fade away. Authenticity is going to be non-negotiable. And again, it's the only way you're going to know if it aligns with your soul, really, right? So the cons, though, can be identity crises, right? Like, well, what now? Maybe some anger surfaces where people suppress the truth. Didn't want to see the truth in situations. Like, it's going to be a lot for a lot of people, but I feel on the other side of this, it's going to be beautiful. Like going into 2027, okay? So we can come back and I'll pull clips from this at the end of the year and we'll talk about it. Collapse of false leaders. Interesting. That could be at work, right? That could be worldwide. Who knows? Spiritual frauds and illusions. Yeah. All of that. Some people may go through a shock awakening rather than gentle realizations. So a lot of people may get really caught off guard. It's like they realize something and they're like, what the F have I been doing? Okay? So, like I said, ego deaths, truth and realizations from a soul level. You can't hide it and you can't deny it. It either is or it isn't. Again, this feels like very black and white energy to me. Okay? What truly feeds your soul and what doesn't becomes very clear. I know I already went over a lot of this, but I have it written down, so I have to say it. And this is a process, so it doesn't happen overnight. Like I say, this may be where you get tested. I feel like these are my little predictions. And for some of you, this may have already happened, and I know for me, it has. Social media. Or people are going to be too busy doing than caring what other people are doing. One thing I want to say is, I don't know, like, I think a lot of people look on social media and they'll look at people and they're posting the highlights of their life and think, oh man, look at their life and here's me over here. I'm just working to keep a roof over my head and food in the fridge, and people may get envious of other people. But I feel there's all different circumstances. Like, I know people who have a lot of beautiful things. They have all the things. But the side that people probably don't realize is those people are out hustling 7 days a week. Working 14, 16-hour days to make it all happen. It's not just being handed to them. And this is where maybe time management is going to become a thing, right? Because we all have 24 hours in a day and 7 days a week, right? All right. Just some food for thought. But I do think that social media, a lot of people aren't going to be spending as much time worried about what other people are doing. And I feel like a lot of people really aren't going to be posting as much as they maybe once were. Dating sites. I feel like those are going to kind of become a thing of the past, to be honest. And I know that's really hard for a lot of people to believe, but I really feel like we are getting to this place where our soul is leading us, and it's not a healthy place. It really isn't. Maybe at one time it was, and I'm not saying there isn't genuine people on there, but for the most part, it's a meat market. Let's be honest, right? It's people looking for a hookup or whatever, a good time, right? And that's about it. Validation from outside sources, I feel, isn't really going to be an issue, because this is really us knowing our worth, knowing our value, know what we bring to the table, and being very sure of ourselves. And I know this is a lot. I mean, trying to kind of work up to this. I did do a video. I called it 2026 is going to be a good year or something. So anyways, I'm going to start with, I'm just trying to see the time on the clock. I think it's almost 17 minutes. All right, so Aries. This is a massive rebirth. There's going to be leadership opportunities, stepping fully into your purpose. Confidence restored after years of confusion. Yes, if any of you felt confused or feeling like you're lacking confidence, I feel like there's going to be opportunities that's going to restore that. And it's very beautiful. Now, the cons for Aries can be ego tests. So it's going to be very important as we go through this shift. And like I say, it doesn't happen overnight, that you're not doing things from a place of ego, that you are doing it from the place of the soul. Okay? Be careful of burnout. This like burning the candle at both ends, right? If you're trying to rush things. And a lot of endings tied to old relationships or identity. I feel this is such a big shift in identity here that a lot of those things aren't going to really align with the new you, is how this feels to me. Now, the fire horse supercharges. Hold on. Sorry, Aries. I was trying not to wear my glasses. The fire horse supercharges Aries. You're the initiator, but patience is required. Okay. All right. Taurus. Spiritual clarity. Healing subconscious wounds. So there could be some things coming up in your subconscious that you're just asking you to look at, maybe heal from, maybe even try and look at it from a new perspective, okay? With more understanding. Release from karmic patterns. Financial intuition improves for my Tauruses, so that's great. The cons, you may be feeling a little ungrounded, right? You like to feel grounded. You're an earth sign. But this is new energy. And this is about letting go of your comfort zones, okay? Old attachments dissolve unexpectedly. So again, this is people, places, things that aren't aligned with you. Okay. The fire horse forces Taurus to trust, change, and not resist. Okay. This is where you got to go with the flow and you got to trust it. Trust the divine. Trust the universe. All right. Gemini. Gemini, this is honestly, this is a lot about your relationships in your life, okay? Platonic, it doesn't matter what. Could be work, anything. But it's talking about new communities, right? Soul-aligned friendships, creative breakthroughs. I feel you're going to be very creative. And social rebirth. So the way that you socialize is going to change. The cons, it could be friendships ending abruptly. Okay, but again, like I say, these are just things that aren't going forward with you. Any type of relationship, could be business, friendships, whatever. You may struggle with feeling misunderstood and mental exhaustion if you overextend yourself. So those are things to be mindful of. Again, this is going to be a lot for the collective. So this is where we need to take care of ourselves and come back to self. The fire horse cuts superficial connections. Only real ones will survive. Okay? For my gems. So knowledge is power, right? As we go through all these things. Cancer. The pros. Career realignment. Recognition for authenticity. Public breakthroughs. Emotional strength and stability. Okay? Now, the cons could be authority clashes or fear of visibility. So you may really struggle with this because you may feel like you're standing out or you're getting all this attention that you don't want, okay? But it's all part of it because, and it's saying that your emotional vulnerability here is going to be exposed. So just be mindful of that. Like if you're feeling uncomfortable, but it says that the fire horse is pushing cancers into bold leadership and you can't hide anymore. There's no more hiding. So, I mean, it's all very beautiful. At the end of the day, it's just getting there, right? And we're all going to go through it one way or another. All right, Leo. So the pros are expansion, traveling, teaching, and publishing. So I feel my Leos are going to be busy. They're going to be working on stuff. But this is purpose-driven confidence. Like you are doing it all with confidence, with a purpose behind it, okay? Spiritual awakening. You're going to be going through it. The cons, your belief systems could collapse. So the way that you saw things, and maybe you told people that's how you always saw something. You may change your mind. Okay? And you may struggle with that, trying to explain, well, now I see it a little bit differently. Identity crisis around who you are without approval. Okay? So it's going to be so important. And I know Leos love to love and they love to be loved. But this is really knowing your worth and not needing anybody's approval, because you could get really hung up without the approvals of others. Okay? The fire horse is empowering Leo to lead from truth and not ego. Okay? So again, this is like that ego death, right? And doing things Wrong place of truth, wrong place of your soul. All right, Virgo. Deep healing. Financial reconstructing. Emotional honesty. Sexual empowerment. Well, I'm not even going to go there into that one, but the cons. Trust issues surfacing. Control patterns being challenged. Letting go of emotional crutches. Okay, those are the things that you could struggle with. But again, the fire horse is demanding Virgos to feel and not analyze. Okay, so this is where I feel you're going to have to kind of, again, do things from the place of the soul. So, and you are an earth sign. And you guys may struggle with this because you do analyze everything, right? And you like control, right? So, and really, is that control or is that structure how Virgo sees it, right? So, all right. Libra, pros, relationship clarity. Soul level bonds are very possible and authentic partnerships. The cons are breakups. You know, this could be friendships or whatever things, again, you feel just aren't aligning with you. One-sided relationships are ending. And the fear of being alone may trigger you, okay? But the fire horse says choose yourself or lose yourself. So I feel some way, somehow, because Libra is the justice card. Libra loves balance. And this is where you've learned all these lessons. Libra is restoring balance in their relationships, okay? And it is beautiful. Scorpio, the pros. Health breakthroughs. Purpose-driven work. Emotional resilience. And power reclaimed. So I feel for my Scorpios, and I've been getting it. You guys have been dealing with some heavy placements and struggling with a lot of emotional stuff. So I feel this is really going to help you kind of get in your power here and emotionally deal with some things, okay? Because the cons are burnout if your boundaries are ignored. Okay, so you need to have healthy boundaries and stick to those and hold yourself accountable. Emotional purging. Old habits collapse fast. You know, and the fire horse transforms Scorpios through discipline and courage. So I feel this is going to be very, very transformative for my Scorpios. All right. And I feel like there's a lot of heavy stuff that you've been dealing with that you're going to be able to release. Okay. It doesn't mean it's going to be easy, but again, let's do it. Let's get to that clean slate, right? Sagittarius, the pros. Creative renaissance. New love. Passion reignited. And playfulness returns. So I feel my Sages are going to start having some fun and be feeling passionate again, you know, which is very beautiful, and being very creative. The cons. Be very careful of reckless choices. Escapism, temptations. Again, things that maybe in your playful energy may feel a little bit exciting, but be very careful. It could be a temptation and a way to kind of escape. But this is where you really have to stop and say, wait a minute, is this just fun? Or is this something that's really aligned with my soul, right? Does it have any lasting power? I feel that's going to be important. And it does say romantic illusions dissolve. So I don't know, in romance, if any of you have had any illusions, they're saying that those will dissolve. Fire horse fuels joy, but honesty matters. Okay? This is about being very honest with yourself, but it's going to fuel a lot of excitement, a lot of creativity and passion and joy. Okay? But again, get raw and honest with yourself, Saggies. All right, Capricorn. Healing when it comes to home, family, emotional grounding, family karma cleared, and inner peace. Beautiful energy. The cons. It's kind of contradicting. Family conflicts, emotional vulnerability, and being uncomfortable. And I feel it says here the cons could be like you're forced to slow down, that type of thing. But I feel for some of you, this, like, if you've been burning the candle at both ends, is where it might be time to kind of look at things and maybe take a little more time for yourself, okay? And I know that's contradicting with the pros and the cons. But this is where you have to do things from a very grounded, loving place, okay? Again, be very careful of your delivery so it doesn't cause conflicts. I don't, I mean, going in and just pretending like nothing happened is not really the right answer either, right? Some things need a discussion, and they warrant one in order to heal, right? So I feel this is really about being mindful of your delivery, or like, you did this and you did that, and you know what I mean? It doesn't get anybody anywhere. So just be very careful of that, because it could be conflict. But I feel there is great opportunity here for a lot of healing, emotional grounding, and inner peace this year. Fire horse teaches Capricorns that strength includes softness. Yes, 100%. Is you can't be strong all the time and act like you are unbothered. Being open and honest about your feelings is important with softness. You have feelings too, right? All right. Aquarius, your voice is going to be amplified. Writing, teaching, and speaking success. So I don't know if a lot of you are going to be writing or teaching or speaking, but whatever it is, you're going to be very successful. Innovative ideas take off. So if any of you have any business ideas or anything like that, get after it, because I feel it's going to be a really good year for you. The cons: mental overload, nervous system strain, and I can see that's a lot going on, right? So just take care of yourself, and miscommunications. So I would say be very careful and just communicate very clearly, so there is no miscommunications. Fire horse energy is going to be revolutionary. But you need to pace yourself, okay? It energizes revolutionary mind, but pace yourself. Okay, sorry. Need my glasses for that one. Can't even read my own writing. All right, Pisces, pros. Your self-worth is being restored. Financial empowerment. Grounded spirituality, beautiful. And your independence grows. The cons. Loss of fantasy safety nets. Emotional detachment from past lovers. Okay? And reality checks around money. But because you have that financial empowerment, feel this where you may be taking a look at your budget, that type of thing, making changes where changes are necessary. And the fire horse forces Pisces to stand strong and not drift. So again, this is be strong, be in your power, don't get caught up in fantasy land or what could be. This is just doing everything again from that place of that soul, right? So anyways, guys, I hope this was helpful, insightful. I am going to be also attaching to this video 3 collective readings I did. And it's interesting because I said this reminds me of this change that we're going to go through. So I have 3 of those that I'm going to attach to this video. And I will see you guys later. Bye. All right, I'm going to do a collective message here. What do we have for the collective? What do they need to see? What are the messages that need to come out for whoever's watching this? What do we have? If you find yourself constantly seeing reoccurring numbers or words, it's a sign that you're being supported, cared for, and divinely protected by the universe. Beautiful things are about to happen to you. So watch out for synchronicities, number synchronicities. If something deep within you tells you that something is not quite right, trust it. If you are unhappy in your life, change something. It is entirely up to you. Stop making excuses. You are in control of your own life. And that's absolutely true. And never ignore that feeling, that gut feeling. And I talk about it all the time on my channel because that is like your body's navigation center. Your gut will never lie to you. When going through tough times, it is important to remember that nothing up to this point has defeated you. You've overcome challenges before. Be kinder to yourself and be thankful for all that you already have. It's gratitude. Absolutely be grateful for all that you've already have. All right. What do we have for the collective? What do we have, or whoever's watching this? All right. Real promise. Release the chains of the past and dance to the rhythm of possibility. Wow. Fast progress. Move forward with swift precision and do what must be done now. Divinely guided. Trust the wisdom of the universe and remain open to receive guidance as you journey through life's mysteries. So I feel like whoever is listening to this reading, there's really a breakthrough going on or a real letting go. Now, for those of you that might be new or you missed the video, I did post a video and it started with 2026 is going to be a good year or a great year. And I feel for us as souls, it's going to be a very good year. Now, I think the round ball that we live on, it's going to get wild, it's going to get crazy, but this is where we really have to be very conscious about being in control of ourselves and working on our soul's growth no matter the outside noise. Okay, I feel that's going to be very important. It's like being in your sovereignty is what I want to say. Okay. I actually put this deck in a timeout, to be honest. But I did use it in that last collective reading. So we are going to clean the cards. All right. What do we have for whoever's watching this video? Ten of Wands. I do love it. Maybe one more. All right. Really, really interesting. I am going to clarify these cards, but Ten of Wands, this is being at the end of a very burdensome cycle. And this could be shedding things or letting go of things here that you need to let go of. And I did talk about it in that 2026 video, coming out of the wood snake here and going into this fire horse energy, which I feel the cards here, that's kind of what they're talking about. So this is really putting down those burdens. This 10 will turn into a 1 here for a brand new beginning. The Page of Pentacles in reverse. This can talk about learning from failure. And that's what you need to do. You just need to take the lessons that you've learned and move forward. And they're talking about fast progress here. It's like if something deep within you tells you something isn't right, I feel that you do need to trust it. And sometimes that's making changes with people's situations in your life. If you feel like they're weighing you down or dragging you down, and this might not be physically, but this could be mentally, emotionally, things that have been, you feel like clinging on to you here, that you're struggling to let go of. It's like every time you find yourself thinking about these things, just think of the lessons that you've learned and really move forward, really let go. Start thinking about something else. You got to train your mind, right? Every time you go back there, you got to say no and think about your happy place, whether that's being on a beach, right? I don't know, being on a cruise ship in the middle of the ocean, that type of thing, wherever your happy place is, to replace those thoughts as soon as you realize or recognize that you're doing that. Page of Wands in reverse. This can talk about like a little bit of a lack of direction or procrastination, okay? Feeling a little bit conflicted, not knowing what's next, okay? And that's okay. It's almost like a vulnerability, right? Not knowing what's next. But with that divinely guided card here, they're saying trust the wisdom of the universe and remain open to receive guidance as you journey through life's mysteries. Look at that, 6 of Wands. And one more for that. And the 10 of Cups in reverse. All right. Now, I'm going to read this a couple different ways. It's going to be different for all of you. But I feel there is something here that's been weighing you down. You may have felt you got a little bit blindsided in a situation. There was some type of shattered dreams, but I feel for whoever I'm reading for, you being kind of carrying the weight of this. And they're saying to release the chains of the past and dance to the rhythm of possibility. Again, this is like letting that go and thinking positively about what the future could look like after you've learned all that you've needed to learn in that situation, whatever that is. And I feel for some of you, there's this part of you here, it's like holding your head high, moving forward, even though you don't know what that looks like, because you can see that she's blindsided. Or sorry, that she's blindfolded. And I think somebody got blindsided here. But with that 10 of Cups in reverse, this can talk about like some type of disharmony here, or a disconnection. And I feel that's kind of what you've been holding on to. But it really is time to really put that down here. What is this Page of Pentacles? And with it saying that you are in control of your own life, for some of you, you may have given your power away, to a situation or a person possibly. Ooh, look at this. And somewhere along the line here, my candle burnt out. Just noticed that. Your actual flame or desire for something may have died here with that candle going out, but it's almost become habit forming that maybe you think about it or you allow it to keep you burdened. Look at this, learning from failure. And this is on that fast progress forward. Again, this is learning from failure, trusting the divine here with that Wheel of Fortune. The Seven of Pentacles can be a card of karma, or trying to figure out here, where do you want to invest your time, your money, your energy? And the Wheel of Fortune can talk about that as well. There seems to be some type of concern about getting hurt here or having your heart broken. But I feel this is where they're asking you to take the lessons that you've learned moving forward. Trust in the divine. Trust that good things will come to you. Because like I said, I feel for some of you, this almost become like a bad habit, maybe holding on to something here or some type of pain. But this is really about trusting that good things will happen. And not every person or situation is going to break your heart. What is this Page of Wands in reverse? What is this Page of Wands in reverse? Clarify this Page of Wands in reverse. I shuffle on camera, guys. That's how I like to do it. If you've watched any of my other videos, you will see that you do have to put up with it. I just feel it's the most authentic way to do it. Just as much of a surprise to me as it is to you what comes out. Oh my goodness. All right. Well, I like that. Okay. That did come out sideways, so I'll normally take them in reverse, but the Tower, the Five of Cups in reverse, and this Eight of Swords in reverse. The Tower can talk about personal transformation. Five of Cups in reverse. This is stop looking at the Three of Cups here that were spilt and look at the two standing up behind you. This can be about finding peace, moving on. Can even talk about forgiveness. Eight of Swords in reverse. This like gaining a fresh perspective, being open to new perspectives, releasing these negative thoughts. And I feel that's kind of where you're at. Something may even happen abruptly. And it may almost be shocking, but I feel in a very good way. Some way, somehow, it's going to be very healing for you. This is almost like you might have a chance meeting somewhere. You might meet somebody. It just could be a random person, or you go out with friends and you meet a friend through a friend kind of thing, and they start talking to you about their story, and you're just like, man, you know, and it gives you, it really opens your eyes here and gives you this fresh perspective. And with that Page of Wands in reverse, it's giving me almost like a humbling feeling. It's like the universe delivers something. Something happens unexpectedly. And you realize here it's time to move on. It's time to be open to new perspectives, new opportunities. It's like it gives you that glimmer of hope. And I really love this energy. I really, truly do. I'm going to just see. I haven't pulled this deck out in a hot minute. It's one of my really old decks. What do we have to close this message out here for the collective? They need to see. Give me one more. Oops. All right, there it is. Dreams. Your dreams may be more vivid and intense than usual. And that's so true. And listen to your dreams. There may be a message in your dreams. The golden stars. Look at this. The stars are lining up for the perfect opportunity now. And I love this. Very beautiful energy. And for some of you with that card of dreams, this may be where, you know, your dreams are going to be answered here one way or another. And it doesn't always happen the way we think it's going to. Okay, because I feel there is going to be something here that is really going to help you overcome some things and see things from this fresh perspective. You know, no matter what we're going through in life, we always have to remember is there's people going through a hell of a lot worse, right? So that somebody needed to hear that. Anyways, guys, I hope that was helpful, insightful. I'm going to do another message here in just a minute. I'll be back. All right, message number 2. What do we have? Oh my goodness. All righty then. That was quick. Skills and talents. Everyone has unique skills and talents. Discover where you shine and work to improve. Create value with your skills. Let your talents shine and you'll become a better version of yourself. So they're asking you to use your gifts and talents. Look at this. Expand your spirit. Make your spiritual world richer. Read more, think more, and be exposed to new things, and your spirit will continue to grow and see a wider world. Very nice. Growing. Doing anything requires perseverance if you don't give up when you encounter setbacks and persist. You will get closer to your goal. Perseverance is key to success and makes you indomitable in the face of difficulties. So it's like growing pains here, but they're asking you to really work on your skills and your talents here and expand your spirit And be persistent. Don't give up. If things feel hard or you feel like you're dealing with setbacks, keep moving forward. All right. Clarify these cards for me. Okay, came out sideways, so we're taking that in reverse. Oh my goodness. Okay, we got 2 here. What is this 4 of Cups in reverse? 4 of Cups in reverse. This is like some type of sudden awareness here. Choosing happiness, realignment. Look at that. Page of Cups. This is curiosity here, a thirst for knowledge. Again, really putting your skills and your talents to work for you here. There may be something where you need to dig a little bit deeper. The Hierophant. Gain more wisdom. The Chariot. Progress, movement forward. The World. I really love this. I feel for some of you, this is really about realigning yourself here, deciding to choose happiness instead of focusing on anything negative. Again, this putting the work into yourself, things like your talents, your skills, anything that you find interesting, learn more. Because you will attain whatever it is that you're trying to learn. Again, it's like refocusing your energy into something positive. It's a very transformative energy to me. And I love this. There is a lot here with that Hierophant. This can be a card of learning, knowledge, gaining more wisdom. There's a lot of progress. So whatever it is that excites you here, I feel, really work on that. Things are really going to come full circle here with that World card being here, because that's attainment, achievements. King of Pentacles. What's this King of Pentacles on Expand Your Spirit? You know, the King of Pentacles is a leader, right? He's very abundant, nurturing. Be a businessman. For some of you, you may be thinking about starting some type of business or learning a new skill here and starting a new business, potentially. Wow. Taurus, Virgo, Capricorn, Cancer, Pisces, Scorpio, Aries, Leo, Sag. Could be any sign, but this could be about teamwork. You seem to be needing to make a decision. But what I like about this, it's almost like it's coming from a very grounded place, a very mature place. You're really thinking it through, deciding which direction you really want to go. And the Queen of Wands, she will get things done. Now, I don't know if potentially this is working with other people or where you're going to learn your knowledge from, that type of thing. There may be a few different people who you're learning from. And it may feel like a lot, but regardless, it's like you're following your heart here, but still getting things done. But I feel a little bit on the fence about which direction you want to go. But again, it's all coming from a very loving, mature, grounded place, and I love that. With a little bit of fire in you too, and a little bit of desire and that passion to be able to move forward. It's all about seeing a wider world. It's very beautiful energy. Look at this. On this card of growing, we have the Six of Wands. This is success, victory, holding your head high here, feeling very proud of yourself. Because you've been persistent here. You haven't been allowing things to get in your way. You know what's really interesting, and I'm just going to tell you what this reminds me of, is I've been talking about for a while about doing another channel. And honestly, I feel with astrologically things that are going to be lining up, I know that there's no time to sit around, that I need to move forward, and I did that. I've been working on that other channel. And it feels good. But sometimes we kind of get insecure maybe, or think nobody will care, and we kind of get in our own way. But I have to be persistent here. And sometimes we are our own worst enemy. And the setbacks that we encounter is standing in our own way, or maybe a little bit of negative self-talk or procrastination, because we decided not to move forward maybe as quickly as we should have. But whatever it is for you, I feel with this Six of Wands being here, again, it's doing what you feel is right, working on your skills and your talents, and it really will expand your spirit. And there's going to be a lot of growth. I almost want to say too, like anything that comes super easy isn't always fun. It's the challenges and obstacles that do make it more rewarding in the end. And somebody needed to hear that. Six of Cups. The Ace of Pentacles in reverse. Okay. And here's another thing. We talk about standing in our own way or setbacks. If this is something that you tried doing in the past and maybe it didn't work out for you, or you're worried that you may look foolish if it doesn't work out for you, whatever it is, like just say you want to start a YouTube channel. You're worried you might look stupid or it might not be successful. You will be successful. Again, it's like exactly what I said to you. It's almost like you're standing in your own way and they're asking you to push forward, because you will be successful. You will be victorious. And you will feel very good about it. And for some of you, there may have been some type of false start in the past, or some type of skill or talent that you were wanting to work on and you gave up on it. And maybe this is where it's time to go back to that, because I feel it will be a lot more successful. You know, maybe it's a timing thing and you just weren't ready. It's like now you're ready here to put the work in. And I love that. Then we have to close this message out. We had the Divine Masculine come out in reverse, and empowerment. Divine Masculine. The masculine energy exhibits action, assertion, logic, and reason with strength, which allows progression forward. So this word male or female, like we all possess feminine and masculine energy, and this may be where you're sitting a little bit more in your feminine energy than that masculine energy. This is where you kind of got to step into that masculine energy here, take that action, do things with logic and reason, with strength, right? Which will allow that progression forward. Empowerment. Take ownership of planning and executing to your highest potential. Even the smallest step forward is a leap in the right direction. And I love this. I almost feel like it is a bit of a self-doubt thing that's holding you back from something here that could be really great. Anyways, guys, I hope that was helpful, insightful. Somebody needed to hear that. Let me clean this up and I'll be back. All right. What do we have for the collective? Whoever's listening to this, what do they need to know? Divine timing. All is happening in universal time when spirit knows you've done the work and are ready. Now, those of you that have been with me for a long time, how true is that? Because we talk about it all the time. Visions. What you are seeing is an important message for you from the divine. This could be prophetic in nature or serve as a powerful symbolism. Imparting wisdom. Your ancestors are watching over you. What would they do in this situation? Listen, and they will tell you. Wow. Is there something here about really listening to your intuition? Because there's an important message here that you're going to be getting. What is this divine timing, visions, and imparting wisdom? What is this all about? Okay. Two of Swords in reverse. Ooh, that Hierophant again. The Six of Wands and the Three of Cups. Wow. This is like teamwork. I don't know if this spirit guides the universe, right? Let's see. What is this Two of Swords in reverse on that divine timing? Some of you almost may feel in a place of confusion. About a new opportunity, some type of passionate new beginning here, really following your heart. There's this sense that you're feeling very guarded. You may be even getting caught off guard. This is how it feels to me. It almost feels like something happens and there's an opportunity here for a new beginning. Something that's very exciting. You may be feeling very inspired to do something. But there's almost this sense that you're kind of protecting yourself. You're not really trusting it. You're feeling very guarded. Again, it's almost like that tower energy where something catches you off guard. But on this card of visions, and what you're seeing is an important message from you from the divine, we have the Hierophant. This can be like a spiritual teacher, right? This is somebody who's very wise. This could be teacher, counselor, friend, that type of thing. Who's very knowledgeable. It's also a very spiritual card, and that's where it's giving me the feeling that they are trying to give you a message here. It's like there's a higher power at work. There's going to be powerful symbolism. It's like the higher powers at work here. What is this Hierophant? Wow. Oh my goodness. Really strong Aries energy here. I mean, it could be for anybody, but it's interesting because we have Neptune and Saturn going to be 0 degrees in Aries, which affects everybody. And I feel that's going to be a big turning point for the collective. I believe that is happening around February 20th. I could be wrong about that. I will be talking more about that in a future video and what that can look like. But my goodness. It's almost like a lot is happening. There's going to be this opportunity here to take a leap of faith. Really be in your power, but there does seem to be, it's like that 7 of Wands where you're feeling a little bit guarded here, and with that 9 of Swords, it's like the stress, the anxiety, the sleepless nights, and I'm almost getting an overwhelmed feeling from this. Like, is this really happening? What is going on here? But in a good way. I feel they're asking you here to take a chance and really be in your power. Even though you may be a little scared or overwhelmed, they're guiding you. This is something that feels like it's for your higher good. And again, it's almost like is that standing in your own way, right? And it can be out of fear or fear of failure, that type of thing. Now, it's interesting because on this imparting wisdom, we have the 6 of Wands again, which came up in, I believe, the first reading, which is victory, success. You do have people looking over you here with this 3 of Cups. You know, and it's quite interesting because imparting wisdom, and it talks about your ancestors, right? How they're watching over you. This is passed on loved ones. And look at these women like they're floating in the air. You know, it's kind of interesting. And look at them. There's 2 cups there, and they're pouring into your cup. And it's overflowing. It's just like the universe really being on your side. And they're saying that you need to ask them what they would do in this situation. Listen, and they'll tell you. And honestly, with this 6 of Wands and the 3 of Cups being here, I feel like they're celebrating. They're telling you here, you're going to be successful. You're going to be victorious. Like, go for it. This is wonderful. But the problem is you have these little hang-ups. Ooh, the Chariot, the 3 of Swords, and the 9 of Pentacles. Again, why that 3 of Swords? For some of you, it could be depression. Three of Swords can talk about depression, anxiety. I feel it's like busting out of that. And if it is depression or anxiety, oh my goodness. It's like busting out of that. And God forbid, if any of you feel on any level that maybe you don't deserve it somehow or anything like that, that is not the case. That's negative self-talk. It's hesitancy. It could be fear of getting hurt. But with the Chariot, the Nine of Pentacles, and this Star card being here, I feel there is a wish fulfillment. There's going to be progress, movement forward. An opportunity here to be really in your power. You know, looking good, smelling good, feeling good. Male or female, we're not gender specific, but this woman is very independent. And this is her. Like, she doesn't need anybody. Doesn't mean she wouldn't like somebody, but she's very independent. She's very successful. Again, she takes care of herself. She's looking good, smelling good, feeling good. She's self-made. But again, it's a very beautiful energy because she's happy. She's truly in her glory. And this Star card coming out to clarify that Three of Swords, again, this is like wish fulfillment, faith, a good omen. And it can talk about renewal. It's like being a new version of yourself. And that's what we're all going through. And for some of you, these could be self-limiting beliefs that you've been allowing to hold you back. It's kind of when we're shedding layers of our old self, trying to move into the new version of ourselves, sometimes there are those lingering things that come up. And again, I feel the biggest message here is really to get out of your own way and be very, very careful of your thoughts. Any negative self-talk or any negative anything, or if you keep feeling like you kind of keep getting pulled back into a negative situation and thinking about it, you got to snap out of it and start thinking about that happy place or looking forward instead of looking back, right? It's, what do they say? Look out the windshield. Don't look out the rear view mirror because you're not going that way. It's like stop looking in that rear view mirror and look out the windshield and think about what could be, because I feel it's going to be very beautiful. All right, what do we have? We'll get a message from the universe to close this one out. Wow, I feel these are very powerful messages. And on my channel, you guys, that's what we talk about a lot of. I try to is this all about the self, the personal growth, right? Moving forward out of tough situations that we've been through, right? You can't do the same thing over and over and expect a different result. Change comes from thinking thoughts you've never thought before and showing up to meet them down streets you've never walked before. Oh my goodness. No act of kindness is ever wasted. Some of the kindest people you will ever meet have been through hell and back themselves. That strengthens their compassion and empathy. If this is describing you, keep being the beautiful soul that you are. And I'm going to say, for some of you, and this fear of being hurt and whatnot, just know if you were being the bigger and better person in a situation and really got hurt, don't be down on yourself for being too kind or compassionate or empathic towards somebody. because that does make you a beautiful soul. And believe it or not, a lot of people just don't even possess that in their being. So that is very kind, and never be down on yourself for being a kind, loving soul. Anyways, guys, I hope that was helpful, insightful. Hi, everybody. I hope you're doing well. Well, it's now the next morning, and I realized I forgot to do an outro for that video. I wanted to thank you all who watched my the last video that went viral. Well, viral for me. There was a lot of views on that video. I feel that was a very strong message that needed to come out for the collective. And I just want to mention as well to the emperors who came out and commented on that video, that shows growth, strength, a lot of realizations, and truly doing the work. I imagine that was very intimidating. We did have a lot of empresses on that video. So I know some emperors deleted their comments, and I probably don't blame you for that because, like I say, it was probably a little bit intimidating. But anyways, I hope these videos were helpful and insightful. I did the 3 collective messages prior to doing the beginning of this video with the collective messages. And I just want to add, just anybody who chooses to try and live in that old timeline after, say, February 20th, that is them doing that to themselves, and they're trying to stay in that old timeline. Okay, so that's where we have to be aware, because I feel like some people aren't going to deal with it as well as others. And it's a process for sure, but I feel it's going to be very rewarding at the end. I don't come out here, I don't sugarcoat anything. I tell you exactly how I feel and how I see it, and I tell you the truth. And that's all I can do. But anyways, if you wouldn't mind hitting that like button, I'd be so grateful. Hope to see you guys on the next one. And bye for now.